Last night, you promised yourself it would be different. You opened the fridge just to look, took one bite just to taste, and then, suddenly, you're standing there with an empty wrapper in your hand wondering how you got here again. And the worst part isn't even the food. It's the moment after, the quiet guilt, the feeling that you can't trust yourself, like something is controlling you. If that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. Mindless eating is not a character flaw. It's a pattern your brain learned. And in this video, you're going to learn the exact pattern so you can break it. Here's what I promise you. By the end of this, you'll know why mindless eating happens, the 3 most common triggers that make it almost automatic, and a simple 1-minute exercise you can start today that makes overeating harder, without counting calories, without strict rules, and without shame. And I'm going to back it with real research, so you're not just hoping it works. You'll understand why it works. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Your brain doesn't just eat food. Your brain eats your attention. When you eat while distracted, scrolling, watching something, working, stressing, your brain records less of the meal. And when your brain records less of the meal, it doesn't get the full message that you ate. So you finish, but you don't feel finished. This isn't motivational talk. Researchers have studied this for years. There's a well-known meta-analysis on distracted eating showing that when people eat while distracted, they tend to eat more in that moment, and even more later, because the meal didn't land in memory the same way. Your stomach may be full, but your brain is still looking for closure. So if you keep thinking, why am I hungry again so soon? Sometimes the answer is you weren't truly present for the last meal. And that leads to the first big shift I want you to make today. Stop trying to control the food first. Control the moment before the food. Because mindless eating usually isn't a decision. It's a drift. You drift into the kitchen. You drift into just one bite. You drift into finishing the whole thing. And then you wake up after it's over. So the real goal is not to become mindful 24/7. The goal is to interrupt the drift at the exact moment it starts. And I promise you, if you learn to catch the first 10 seconds, you'll stop losing the next 30 minutes. Now let's name the 3 biggest triggers, because once you can name it, you can predict it. Trigger number 1 is screen eating. Phone, TV, laptop, anything that pulls your attention away from the food. Your eyes are locked on the screen, your hand keeps moving, and your brain treats food like background noise. That's why you can finish something and barely remember it. Trigger number 2 is stress eating. When stress hits, your nervous system looks for relief fast. Food gives relief quickly, especially ultra-rewarding food. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means your brain is trying to regulate your feelings the fastest way it knows. Trigger number 3 is availability eating. The food is just there, on the counter, on your desk, in the car. You didn't decide to eat, you discovered yourself eating. If one of these feels like your life, good, because each trigger has a simple fix that doesn't require perfection. Before we get into the fixes, I want you to drop the shame. Shame makes mindless eating worse. Shame creates stress. Stress increases cravings. Cravings increase mindless eating. Then the cycle repeats. So our goal is not to be strict. Our goal is to become aware sooner, without guilt, so you can choose. Now here's another piece people don't understand. Some foods make mindless eating easier on purpose. There are controlled studies showing that when people are given ultra-processed diets, compared to less processed diets, they often end up eating more calories without trying. The point isn't that you can never eat these foods. The point is, certain foods are easier to eat fast, easier to keep chewing, and more rewarding, which makes autopilot eating more likely. So if you've ever felt like certain foods flip a switch in your brain, you're not imagining it. That's why willpower alone is a bad plan. If your plan requires you to fight your brain every day, you will eventually lose, especially on tired or stressful days. So we build a system. And the system is built around one simple idea. Make the start less automatic. Make the stop easier. Let's do the start first. Switch number 1, remove the automatic start. Mindless eating often begins before you even realize it. You're already grabbing something before you consciously decided. So here's a rule that sounds almost too simple, but it works because it forces a micro decision. No eating standing up. Not because standing is bad, because standing makes eating a drive-by behavior. It keeps you in drift mode. If you want to eat, sit down. This one rule creates a pause, and the pause is where your control lives. Switch number 2, add friction to trigger foods. Friction is a superpower. If your trigger food is always within arm's reach, it will win more often. Not because you're weak, but because your brain chooses the easiest reward. So you add one tiny obstacle. Put snacks in an opaque container instead of a clear one. Put them on a high shelf. Put them in a different room. Don't keep them on the desk. Don't keep them visible on the counter. This isn't punishment. This is design. You're not saying never, you're saying not automatically. Switch number 3, break the pairing between screens and food. This is huge. If you always eat with TV or your phone, your brain learns screen equals snack. Then later you open Netflix and suddenly you need food. So here's a practical boundary. Make your main meals screen-free. Not every snack, not your entire life, just meals. Because meals are your best chance to create a strong memory of eating, which helps reduce the "I need something else" feeling later. Now, I know what you might be thinking. My problem isn't meals. My problem is late night eating, or stress eating, or binge eating. Let's handle the 2 hardest moments, stress and night. First, stress. If stress triggers mindless eating, you don't need discipline first. You need a downshift first. Because when your nervous system is activated, food becomes the fastest way to change your state. So here's a 20-second pre-food reset. Exhale longer than you inhale 3 times. Inhale gently. Exhale slowly like you're fogging a mirror 3 times. Then ask one question. Hunger or overload? If you're hungry, eat. If you're overloaded, your real need is relief, not food. And here's the promise. Once you separate hunger from overload, food stops being an emotional emergency. Now, night eating. Night eating is often fatigue plus habit plus permission. You're tired. Your brain wants reward. And you feel like you deserve something because the day was hard. So don't fight it with harsh rules that make you rebel. Use a boundary that feels safe. You can eat again, but first, drink water and wait 10 minutes. 10 minutes isn't punishment, it's a test. If you're truly hungry, you'll still want food. If it's a craving wave, it often softens. And even if you still eat, the waiting turns a reflex into a choice. Choice is the opposite of mindless. Now, let's get to the simple exercise. This is the easiest version possible, and it still works because it interrupts autopilot. You do it once per day for 7 days. Not every meal, once per day. It's called the 10-second reset. Before the first bite, stop for 2 seconds. Ask, hunger or craving? Pick one word, then take 3 slow bites. Not painfully slow, just slow enough to taste. After 3 bites, ask, do I still want more? If yes, keep eating normally. If no, stop or put it away. That's it. 3 bites and a decision. This exercise retrains your brain to notice the start and choose the next step, which is exactly where mindless eating usually steals control. Now, let's make it real with a simple plan so you don't overthink. For the next 7 days, your only mission is this: do one 10-second reset per day and make one environment change. Choose the one place where mindless eating happens most. If it's your desk, remove food from the desk. If it's the couch, keep snacks out of arm's reach and eat only in the kitchen. If it's the kitchen at night, put trigger foods out of sight. If it's the car, keep the car food-free. One change. Because systems beat motivation. And here's a final truth that can save you years. If your plan requires you to be strong every hour, it's not a plan. It's a trap. A real plan makes the right choice easier and the wrong choice less automatic. So if you slip, you don't restart your life. You stop the spiral at the next bite. Even if you already started. Even if you already ate too much. You can still do the 10-second reset in the middle of it. Because the goal is not perfection. The goal is control. And control starts with awareness, without shame. So today, do one reset. Just one. And when you're done, ask yourself one question. Did I eat with awareness? Or did I eat on autopilot? Because every time you choose awareness, you take your control back. And when you take control back consistently, mindless eating stops being who you are and becomes just a habit you used to have.